This particular flip project was the simplest flip that I have ever done. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a full tour of my most recent flip property, as well as giving you the numbers and everything that I spent on the property, how much I paid, and then what I made in total profit from the sale of the property. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Abby. I share my entire real estate journey, talking about how I started flipping houses and what I'm doing in real estate in order to build wealth. Follow me on Instagram. I talk a little bit more there and just share my day-to-day of what I'm doing in real estate. So let's jump into it. Before I talk about the numbers, I will give you a tour of the property. Okay, so now that we're done with the tour, let's talk a little bit about the numbers. If you haven't watched my most recent video, I spoke about how I did the deal analysis, how I found the property, and everything that went into my decision making in order to purchase this particular property. Let's start with the purchase price. I bought this property for $350,000, which included a wholesaler fee of $37,500. So the property itself was actually $312,000, but because I bought it from a wholesaler, I also paid a fee to them, and that came to a total of $350,000. Next is the purchase costs. So the purchase costs include things like the land transfer tax. I ended up paying the seller's lawyer's fees just because that was included in the contract. And then I also paid insurance, title insurance for the property. And that total came to just over $5,700. Now on to the renovations. So this property was a cosmetic flip. So that meant that I didn't really have to break down any walls or do any major demo except for the bathroom. So I ended up spending $35,000 on the renovations, and that was because I went for a little bit of nicer finishings in terms of like the countertops, the appliances, things like that. I decided to spend a little bit more and put into the house so that when it shows, it will show a bit better and sell for a higher cost. While I renovated the property, I also spent money on the holding costs. Holding costs include things like the mortgage, the insurance, and utilities. And I ended up spending $3,500 over the 3-month period. And then the legal costs, I spent $2,200 on my lawyer fees. So when I was selling this property, I used a realtor for it. And this was my first time using a realtor to sell the property. If you've watched any of my last videos, you'll have seen that I sold my last properties myself without a realtor, and I speak a little bit more about how I did that. So if you haven't watched those and you're interested, go watch those. But for this particular one, I decided to use a realtor to sell the property. So they took care of everything from the staging of the property, the photography, the cleaning, and just the entire sales process. And at the end of the sale, I paid realtors, both the buyer's realtors and my realtor, a total of just over $31,000. So now for the juicy part, the sale of the property. So I put the property on the market for $500,000 and I purposely listed it just under the market value. If you watched my last video, you would have seen that I estimated that the ARV, or the after renovation value, would have been about $550,000. But because it's a seller's market, I decided to list the property just under market value because that was what would have attracted the most views or the most buyers to come and visit the property. And at the end of the day, the goal was to get the most buyers to submit offers. And I delayed offers for a week. So that meant that I put the property on the market on a Thursday and I did not take any potential offers until the following Wednesday. And this meant that everyone submitted their offers on the same day, which kind of meant that the buyers were bidding against each other. That's the definition of a bidding war. Once that day came, we had a total of 4 offers and I accepted the highest and the best offer of $610,000. So that is $110,000 above asking price, $60,000 over the after renovation value that I estimated. Once I took away all the costs associated with buying and selling the property, I was left with a total of just over $182,000 in profit. This particular flip project was the simplest flip that I have ever done because I was actually away for the first 2 months. And the reason that I was able to do this was because I had put some systems in place to know exactly what I wanted the contractors to do, what types of renovations that I wanted. I had ordered all the materials because when I was doing the research on what types of material to buy for this property, I saved all of that even before I made the offer to purchase the property. So at the point where I had the property under contract, I started making that list and putting everything together so that when it was time to do the work, all the materials were on site for the contractor. Even though I was away, I was still in constant communication with the contractor. And because I had a level of trust for them, the renovation process went extremely well and we were under budget by about $15,000. If you want to know a bit more about the process of how I flipped this property long distance, leave a comment below and I will make a video and setting up systems and putting together processes so that you are able to manage a project when you are not there. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. Follow me on Instagram at blackequity_. Subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends. All right, guys, bye.